Ninja Gaiden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3. Or should I say, Ninja Ryukenden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, NES, and Ninja Ryukenden 3 for the NES/Famicom systems. We're going to start with Ninja Gaiden 1. Or should I say Ryu or Ninja Ryukenden 1. Sorry, I get Ryu and all that stuff mixed up. This will be more of a summed up version of my last review, when I reviewed this over a year ago. So, let's talk about it. I'm going to show the intro for each of the games, and we're going to talk about them. So, I played the original Ninja Gaiden/Ninja Gaiden over a year ago, right? Because, you know, Chris has the new Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden Black or the Ninja Gaiden. Keep this in mind, over a year ago, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black didn't exist. But basically, if you remember the Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3 series, everyone's basically mostly familiar with at this point. Basically, you know, the 3D series of Ninja Gaiden. That's the game series everyone is familiar with. And I can't necessarily blame people, right? So, I saw Chris play those games one day, and I wanted to get into the series too. Now, usually, I am a retro gamer at heart, meaning, okay, or an more older school gamer at heart. You know, obviously I'll play the new shit if it comes out, but you get my point, right? You know, of course I'll play. But anyways, I digress. I decided to not revisit, but if you guys remember, over a year ago, Chris or something inspired me to give these games a try, and I went on a Ninja Gaiden gaming spree. I went crazy with it. Absolutely freaking bonkers. Anyways, I went on a tirade with the Ninja Gaiden series. Alright, and my last review, when I first reviewed the first game, these are the things I said. The level design in this game is absolutely bonkers. Enemies hitting you from all directions. This game is unfair. One of the hardest piece of shit games I decided to deal with. Right? Because I wanted to get into this Ryu Hayabusa character, and I wanted to get into his world through old school means, not new gen school. Anyways, have you ever ice skated before? Yes, and I immediately wanted off the ice because that's not me. But anyways, I remember playing the game, struggling so bad with each stage. I even have a playthrough of Ninja Gaiden 1/Ninja Ryukenden 1 for the NES/Super Famicom on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Even in the original game, even with the easier version of the game, I was still struggling, which I'll get into, right? So, let's backtrack a little bit. Let me get into, you know, the first game, right? So, I played the first game, and honestly, Ninja Gaiden 1 for the NES really felt like Contra on steroids. It felt like that, except you were a ninja wielding a sword. That felt like the only difference. Just keep in mind, and you're way more agile than, you know, the Contra boys and all that other sort of stuff. But you get it, right? It felt like that to me when I first played. Feeling better? No, I'm the same. I'm actually coughing up a lot of my mucus now. As I went away, I'm starting to cough up a lot of my mucus. So, we're in that stage now of my sickness, for anyone wondering. Anyways, as I was saying, right? That's how I felt on my original first playthrough of Ninja Gaiden 1, right? And I won't lie. That game traumatized me a little bit, but it traumatized me, but you know what I said? I'm going to keep going, right? I'm not going to let Ninja Gaiden 1 stop me, right? I'm not going to let it stop me. Who's going to stop me? Nobody. So I'm going to play Ninja Gaiden 2 because I fucking love it. Here we go, boys. Let's talk about Ninja Gaiden 2, right? And also, both times for Ninja Gaiden 1, I beat those games, like, simultaneously. Like, I beat the Japanese and the original version, and it was both difficult as shit. Anyways. Ninja Gaiden slash Ninja Ryukenden 2. What was my experience with this game for the very first time? I remember the first time I ever played Ninja Gaiden 2, I remember being so frustrated with it. Because Ninja Gaiden 2 is basically the same exact game as the first one, right? But, oh, and keep this in mind, I'm going to talk about the English version of Ninja Gaiden 3 as well, not just the Japanese when we get to it. And I'm going to explain to y'all the differences with that version of the game. Anyways, so, here I was. I finally decided to get on Ninja Gaiden 2. I said, you know what? Let's put up the bullshit that I put up with in the first game all over again. I know it's going to be more of the same. I know the boss battles are going to whoop my ass. You know, I know the level design is going to kick me a new one. I know I'm about to be sitting here for a very long time. So, when I tell you that when I first played the NES game, the final boss kicked my ass. And I mean the final boss. You want to see him? The final boss of Ninja Gaiden 2 straight up kicked my ass. I actually rage quit. Originally, on my first playthrough, I said, I'm not doing this. This shit is way too hard. I'm done. I quit. And that also doesn't help the first phase where he's shooting random shit at you, right? I can't deal with this. I fucking quit, right? Then it gets worse. When I saw this, I said, I'm fucking done. I'm not playing this shit anymore. Fuck Ninja Gaiden 2. I'm done. And I immediately moved on to the next entry, aka the English version of Ninja Gaiden 3, right? But when I decided to come back very recently, extremely recently, on my page, right? I decided to tackle all 3 of the Ninja Gaiden games in a brand new way, or at least 1 and 3 were brand new. 2 was the only one I decided to go back to the English version specifically to play, right? Because I knew the level design of all the games. I knew it like it was the back of my hand. And you're not going to believe this, but as of July 3rd, 2025, this happened. I'm going to show you guys, man. So, I thought that was the final boss, if you remember the giant head. I spent a ridiculous amount of time grinding that out, getting mad, all that stuff, right? And after a minute, right, I finally fucking did it. I said, the game is done, it's beat. Oh my god! I'm done with Ninja Gaiden 2 for the first time. Right? But then this happened. And I remember how devastatingly hard this fight was. This is the true final part of the game, the third and final phase for the final boss, where you have to hit the head multiple times. And keep in mind, past me never made it to this point. I quit the game, right? Long before this. I hit the head, and then you hit his little body right there. And when I was actually done, after it took me a long time of save stating going through, that ending finally gave me closure. Your boy actually beat Ninja Gaiden 2. Not the Japanese version, the harder version of the 2. Because keep this in mind, people, whenever you play the US versions of Ninja Gaiden, you are basically playing a harder version of the game. Because US are tough motherfuckers, we can handle anything, basically. So, the Japanese said, okay, bet, we'll make it even harder. And that's what happened with Ninja Gaiden 2, actually. Ninja Gaiden 1, you guys thought it wasn't hard enough? Then we'll make Ninja Gaiden 2 even harder. And after I played the game and beat the game, Ninja Gaiden 2 USA, the harder version of the two games, or the two versions, I felt so relieved, right? And also, keep in mind, I did Ninja Gaiden 2 before I did Ninja Gaiden 1 and 3, which I should have done this game last because it goes Ninja Gaiden 1, 3, 2 in the timeline for the NES games. But anyways, right? So, after I beat that, I literally told myself I need to play an easier version of the game. I won't lie, at this point, I was burnt out. I was tired of enemies constantly coming from behind me, ready to fucking jump me every 5 seconds. The stupid, dumbass fucking hawks that fly in and take 3 to 4 of my HP every single time I played. Fucking, like, all the enemies were so fucking annoying in this game. And let me tell you, Ninja Gaiden 2 is really frustrating. They take it to an entirely new level of frustrating with Ninja Gaiden 2. And honestly, do I recommend this version of the game? Yes and no. I recommend it if you really want to, if you want a challenge and you want to give it a go. I'm not saying the Japanese versions do not have challenge, but I'm just saying if you want even more challenge than the Japanese version of Ninja Gaiden 2, then play the US version of Ninja Gaiden 2. Now, again, this is an abbreviated version of Ninja Gaiden, my Ninja Gaiden review from all those years ago, so keep that in mind, right? Now, let us talk about Ninja Gaiden 3 for the NES. Man, this game and me, we have some serious history.
Evolution,
A fucking ad. Yep, that's the history right there. A fucking ad. So, after Ninja Gaiden 2, I said, you know what? Let's play Ninja Gaiden 3. I know it's going to be more of the same bullshit as Ninja Gaiden 2, maybe stepped up a notch. Right? I want to know what is going on. And by the way, the story of this one is Ryu was basically framed for murdering Irene. And basically, the whole game is basically Ryu trying to clear his name. That's basically the entire plot of the game, in a nutshell. And Ninja Gaiden 1, it was about trying to retrieve the Dragon Sword in order to slay Jakio, the craziest demon his dad and his dad's friend ever fought. And Ninja Gaiden 2 was more of the same shit, except Jakio's homies came in and wanted to fuck shit over. That was Ninja Gaiden 2's story. Anyways, so, the US version of Ninja Gaiden 3, I don't ever want to see any of you guys play. I quit literally stage 1 or stage 2-1. I remember this very clearly because let me tell you why Ninja Gaiden 3 NES is easily the hardest game in the entire trilogy. Let me tell y'all. So, with Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, you have infinite continues, meaning you can keep on playing as long as you like, you know, for however long you like until you get it, until you beat the stage or until you do whatever, right? Infinite continues. Ninja Gaiden 3 only limits you to this before they take you back to the beginning of the entire game. 5 whole continues. No passwords, right? No passwords, no nothing to save your progress. You get 5 continues. Pray you beat Ninja Gaiden 3 in 5 continues only. Oh, and also, if you die at a boss, you go even further back in the stage than you do in the Japanese version of the game in certain intervals. And sure, the checkpoints in Ninja Gaiden 3 USA are the same, but man, at times they're the same, but man, it is way more punishing dying in the US version of Ninja Gaiden 3 compared to the Japanese, because at least the Japanese will take you back 1 stage. Alright, but not 7-1, like you never did 7-2 and 7-3 all over again, and all those rooms in level 7 were difficult, right? So not only you have to deal with only 5 continues in the US Ninja Gaiden 3, right? Enemies are beyond bullshit in this game. Not only they double damage, but they pounce you left and right over and over and over and over again in this game. To the point, 2-1, I decided to quit and never look back at the NES Ninja Gaiden games ever again. Never again. I was never going to play these. I was done. Ninja Gaiden 3 was the shittiest one of the trilogy for me. The shittiest one. Right? And I knew that going back into it when I made my streams doing the full playthroughs of each of the games. So I decided to, instead of playing the US version of Ninja Gaiden 3, oh, and also another difference with Ninja Gaiden 3 is that items, extra power-ups are way more hidden in the US version, / way harder to reach, way harder to grab, and a lot less frequent than the Japanese version of the game. Oh, and did I mention enemies were crazy rampant in the US version of Ninja Gaiden 3? No? Okay, I'll mention it 7 more times then, so you get a fucking understanding. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna relax, okay? But anyways, as I was saying, I knew going into US Ninja Gaiden 3 was a mistake, alright? Not in my first playthrough, but when I revisited Ninja Gaiden 3, aka Ninja Ryukenden 3, right? For the Famicom, I had one of the best Ninja Gaiden sessions in my entire life. I have never felt so smooth with this motherfucker's jumping, his fucking sword swings, his fucking secondary item abilities, fucking running through bosses like it's a piece of paper. I'm talking, this version of Ninja Gaiden 3 is way better than the US version. Not only it's easier and way more enjoyable to play, and way less punishing, but you also get a password screen to save your progress in the Japanese version so you can continue your game. Now sure, there's still only 5 continues, but at least they give you a password. Maybe even after all your continues, you can at least remember the password when you go to the password screen to start where you last left off. So, regardless, Ninja Gaiden 3 for the Japanese is a lot easier. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't realize that, okay? I had to do so much research, alright, in the Ninja Gaiden games to find this out, to find out that the Famicom versions of Ninja Gaiden are actually easier than the USA versions, because most times, 9 times out of 10, or a good 8 times out of 10, Japanese games would be harder than the US version of the games, respectively. I mean, look at Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 2, the Lost Levels. That's an example of, you know, Japan decided not to bring it to America because American gamers were, not skilled enough to play the game. It was too hard for them, right? Have they ever played a Ninja Gaiden game? But anyways, I digress, right? So going through Ninja Gaiden 3 with a slick new moveset, tons of new abilities, scrolls, and blade upgrades, I need to talk about this. I need to spend more time talking about Ninja Gaiden 3 upgrades. I need to, and I feel like I sinned if I don't talk about it, because it made the game so much more fun, so much more enjoyable than Ninja Gaiden 1 or 2, in my opinion, in terms of the Japanese version anyway. The Japanese version saves Ninja Gaiden 3 for me. And I know, but Alan, you used, you know, fucking emulators and all that other sort of stuff, so of course it's going to be a lot easier for you because you got save states and all that other sort of shit. Who the fuck cares? Alright? That doesn't matter in this conversation, right? What matters is I fucking played the game, okay? That's what fucking matters, alright? So let me show you the power-ups, right? So, the power-ups and other things, right? Ninja Gaiden 3, you get your ammo refill, you have your sub-weapon, And later in the stages, what makes Ninja Gaiden 3 so cool is not only Ryu Hayabusa, again, like I mentioned before, he can move way faster on the ground. He's not sluggish like Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 Ryu Hayabusa. He can actually cling to little certain ceiling things and jump up on them. That was something Ninja Gaiden 2 Ryu couldn't even fucking imagine doing, okay? Not only is faster, but you can, you get something like a blade upgrade if you find it in the level, which allows your sword to have more range. You see, in Ninja Gaiden 2 and 1 of the biggest struggles with those games is your blade range. Your range of your katana, the dragon sword, right? Your range is pretty shit. Meaning you have to get really close to most bosses if you don't have a sub-weapon to deal damage to your enemy, right? But because if you find a blade upgrade in the levels themselves, it extends your reach. So instead of like throwing like a mini dagger like this, like a little blade that goes only this far and it feels that close, now think of my whole arm as the sword, and think of the remote as the little wind off the blade. I have that much range now with my sword swing, thanks to the sword upgrades, which, oh my god, killing bosses in the fucking Japanese version was a breeze. I mean, if you guys saw my Ninja Ryukenden 3 full playthrough, y'all saw how I was breezing through 90% of this game, or a good 60% of this game, or maybe 45% of the game, with little to no problems. Because I was just enjoying the overall movement, I was enjoying the music a lot, I was enjoying the gameplay. I was actually in love with Ryu Hayabusa all over again. And I'm talking Famicom/NES Ninja Gaiden, okay? Keep in mind, after I played all 3 of the US versions over a year ago, I only came back to the 3D games. I didn't touch 2D Ninja Gaiden again. That's a lie. If we're talking the Sega Dreamcast version, the Game Boy game of Ninja Gaiden, like I said, I went a little crazy with Ninja Gaiden games because, keep in mind, I love the NES gameplay style of Ninja Gaiden, so of course I'm going to want more games to replicate it. And I remember I said the Ninja Gaiden Game Boy game was easily one of the best Ninja Gaiden experiences I have ever experienced. Bro, that might have to change to Ninja Ryukenden 3, my guy, as the best Ninja Gaiden, however you want to fucking call it, or Ninja Ryukenden experience I have experienced. I mean, fuck, the final boss, for me, took nowhere near as long. Matter of fact, if we take a look at my Ninja Gaiden playthroughs right now, right, all over again, I spent, what, as you can see, 3 hours on the second game, 2 hours on the first, and only an hour 26 on the third. That should tell you how much of an improvement and an overall difference the Japanese version made in comparison to the original. Because if it was like the original, like Ninja Gaiden 1, I probably would have been on there way longer than 2 hours. I'm going to be so fucking real, but I was struggling with the final boss a lot, so that's why I extended that long. And keep in mind, I may have struggled with the final stage, like 7-3C, and a lot of other things, and maybe some of the few final bosses, but I was stuck on those nowhere near as long as the other ones. Oh, and if you want proof that I beat these guys, here you go. Oh, and I did this all with 1 HP.
I'm trying not to use my aim.
Because why the fuck not, right? Dealt with that guy. I dealt with this guy right here that has landmine shits. And then you're probably wondering how I dealt with the final dude. Break that fucking mask off his shit, then you aim for the heart and he's fucking dead. I was one happy motherfucker after defeating him. I really, really, really was. I won't lie. Sure, I save stayed a lot.
Oh, that was no point in doing that.
Right? But I was the happiest boy alive.
Oh my god.
Finally, truly. Jeremiah, thank you for the rupees, my guy. Appreciate that. Thank you for the rupees again. Damn, bro.
Huh?
But, I was the happiest guy alive to finally finish the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. And I know there's probably going to be people out there one day. And by the way, yes, the bosses in Ninja Gaiden 3 / Ninja Ryukenden 3 were bullshit a lot of the time. Obviously, duh. But I want to get this video over with because, you know, it's going on 30 minutes. But anyways, as I was saying, right, to keep the review short, on the shorter side, do I recommend Ninja Gaiden NES / Ninja Gaiden / Ninja Ryukenden 3 or Ninja Ryukenden series, right? Ninja Gaiden series / Ninja Ryukenden. I highly recommend, if you are a beginner to the Ninja Gaiden series or Ninja Ryukenden series, please start with, like, give the US game a try so you can understand all the language and all that other sort of stuff. And if you don't like those versions of the NES games, the Japanese games, and keep this in mind, I don't want to bullshit you and say, oh, they're significantly easier. They're way easier. Okay, they're easier, but not by too much. Okay? So keep that in mind. Not by too much. But it definitely makes a difference when you play the Japanese versus the US version of these games. And I am so glad in 2025 I can actually say I have beaten all 3 of these games now. Ninja Gaiden 3 doesn't tie my neck on the floor and says, you haven't beaten me, bitch. No, I've beaten it now. And I can move on from the Ninja Gaiden Trilogy, and I did it on stream, which was even fucking cooler than doing it off camera for a review. And, but yeah, thank you, you know, for watching those playthroughs of me doing Ninja Gaiden. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the other games. My stomach really hurts, like, really, really bad, which is why I'm trying to rush things. And, I know I streamed a lot today, but, you know, our Sonic pose would be like this. But, anyways, guys, I'm actually so fucking happy. You know, we did Ninja Gaiden. We literally did Ninja Gaiden 3 today. 6 hours ago, in fact, as I'm making this video. I was sitting on my bed over there, contemplating, should I make a video on Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3? Like my instant re-experience with these games. Today, tomorrow, when? Now, buddy. Just now. Let's do it. You love the series so much, let's fucking do it. And by the way, Nick, I want to apologize for ignoring you on PlayStation when I was in the middle of this stream. I was busy. Again, I apologize. But anyways, guys, that's my interesting re-experience with the Ninja Gaiden games. Now, it's okay to prefer the 3D games over the 2D games, but just know, Ryu Hayabusa wouldn't be shit without this legendary fucking trilogy. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Thank you, Jeremiah, for 100 jewels. I appreciate it. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. I just realized. I can't end this video. Right? I can't let it end without a certain something happening, you know? It would just be alien for me to end a Ninja Gaiden video off on something, you know, so long and everything. Anyways, wait, my TV. But anyways, this is the outro of the video, so, no. Okay. I'm a ninja nigga!